Hi everyone, welcome back to the LucaBeth Lounge, the cozy space for everybody who loves Lucas and Elizabeth from One Calls the Heart. Today we have me, Jillian.
And me, Div. Hi, guys.
And that's it. It's just us. It's you and me. And this is going to be really fun.
Always.
Today we're talking about some of our favorite LucaBeth scenes. It's going to be really difficult. It was actually, I still don't even know what I'm going to say. But we're not including the kiss scenes, and we're not including Union City. Is that it? I don't know. Just because they're so obvious. And we're going to do an episode about Union City, so we can't talk about it yet. So.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. How do we even want to start this? Do we want to start from the bottom and work our way up? See, I don't know if mine are in any particular order. Are yours?
I put them down in chronological order because then I figured then I don't have to rate them.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like that's easier. And who knows, some of our stuff might overlap. So I wrote down 2 extra ones.
I have a lot of extra ones.
Good. Perfect. So we're going to cheat a little bit, right? We said top 5 each, but hopefully people are going to forgive us. What was I going to say? Yeah, so for me, I ended up doing 3 short scenes and then 2 large scenes. And I'm very happy because one of them we've never talked about.
Ooh.
Which is not, a mark against us people. I was just really glad that we didn't talk about this scene before because I love it. It's very underrated. And then there's another scene that we talked about as a group, but when I edited the video, I cut it out because it was just too long. So no one's ever heard about this, me talk about this episode before, so I'm gonna talk about it now. Yeah. Okay. So what are we gonna do? Go back and forth, you and me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just so you listeners know, we have not discussed this yet. So we don't know what each other is gonna say. So this is gonna be so fun. Yeah. Okay. So do you want to go first? What's your so you did it in chronological order.
Yep.
What's your first one?
First one, I am gonna go with the scene between Elizabeth, Lucas, and Henry in season 7, episode 1, Outside Dottie's. I love that friggin' scene. Okay. So it's the scene, Lucas and Elizabeth are kind of on weird terms because this is right after he's come to the schoolhouse and told her, that he didn't feel enough from her short stories and that, she needs to write from the heart. And of course, our girl didn't take it very well. So this is the first time they kind of run into each other. She's coming out of Dottie's and he's walking up the boardwalk with Henry, and then they see each other and they stop. And it's awkward. And it's really cute because Elizabeth looks at Henry. She glances at him. She's polite. But then she looks at Lucas and he looks away because he's kind of like, oh, this is so awkward. But she keeps looking at him and then he can't help it. They're kind of trying to avoid each other. They can't help it. The magnetic pull is there. So he looks up at her and their eyes lock. And then she looks away. And then she's like, I have to go. And then she walks away. And that's when Henry goes, what'd you do now? To Lucas, because he sensed the tension. It was freaking obvious. Hey guys, I said freaking again. Shame on me. So, and then he's like, what'd you do now? Which is very coupley, right? Because he's pretty much why'd you take off your woman? And Lucas is like, I just offered her some free advice. Poor guy. He's genuinely dude, I was trying to do a good thing. And then we think, okay, it's over, right? And then Henry and Lucas start walking away. But then I love this part because Elizabeth is talking to Florence and Molly, but she can't help herself. She turns around and looks at him again. I mean, by this point, he's already walking away. But I love that she feels this need to look at him again. Yes. And it says so much to me because she watches him go, and then you can see this disappointment on her face. And it really showed me her feelings for him. So this is the first episode back, right? From because it was season 7. So it made me very, very happy.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like it. Okay. I feel like we're on the same page with how we chose these because it's not just like all the obvious ones.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, hit me.
Let's see. Again, these are in no particular order. Okay, I'm gonna say when Elizabeth brings Lucas cookies after Union City. It's one of my favorite scenes. I love it so much. And I don't like that episode, but I will watch it just for that scene. And then I'll just skip to the next one.
Yeah.
It is so, like, just the fact that they just got back from, like, an overnight date together.
Yeah.
I, like, thinking myself, if I had just gone on that date with somebody and then I got back, it would either be I want to see him again right away or I want to avoid him. And she bakes him cookies and brings them to him, and she's so cute about it. She's like so giddy. She like opens them for him.
Yep.
She can't even wait for him to like
He
see
bounces.
what they are.
Yeah.
It's so she like jumps up and down and like
it's
unwraps
so
them. It's so cute. And then it's like super sweet because he gives her the book. And I feel like it was kind of a parallel with when Jack gave her book. She said like she says thank you, it's very beautiful or something like that, and it's like the same way that she says it to Jack. It's like super sweet. And then they're like really flirty after that too. Like she it's like she wants an excuse to stay, but she doesn't really have one, so she's just like, okay, I guess I should probably go now. And then they just keep talking for a little bit, and it's so cute. And the way he's like, have a wonderful time. I just love it. I love it so much.
I do too. If we love all the scenes, come on.
I know.
What's interesting about this scene is Elizabeth journals. We see Elizabeth journaling at the beginning of this episode where she's like, she loves the trip, right? She tells Rosemary it was perfect in the previous episode. And then in this one, she calls it a whirlwind weekend.
Yeah.
But then she also says she knows that, you know, it upset Nathan and she feels really bad about hurting him. But she's taking cookies to Lucas. Like,
she's taking cookies to Lucas. She gives him cookies.
She feels guilty about hurting Nathan, but she's not going to let that. She's not going to let that ruin what she and Lucas have going.
No, and you know what? It's kind of, the fact that she feels guilty about Lucas, or she feels guilty about Nathan being sad, is just kind of like a whole theme of the whole show, I feel like.
Dude, it's like, not feelings, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling
bad.
She feels bad for him.
Yeah.
It's just kind of sad. Like, I mean, it's not sad as in I feel sorry for Nathan, which is just sad that he's after this woman who's pretty much just pitying him. Don't forget when he walks away, when she walks away.
And he looks at her like, he flashes his little dimples, and he can't help but like just look at her and grin.
He does the sigh, and he does that sigh.
He like looks down and like,
our little schoolboy. He's such a schoolboy. It's so
I know.
cute.
Sometimes it's just so cute how they're like, they really are like little like children with crushes on each other, and it's it's even better knowing that they like fall deeply in love with each other. And looking back at those scenes that are just cute.
Okay. I know.
Let me make sure I said everything I wanted to say about that. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Watches her leave and flashes the dips. That's in my notes. So thank you for reminding me. Okay. What's your next one?
Okay. My next one. Spicy library scene. Season 7, episode 6. Did you have that?
Yeah.
Well,
the one, wait, which one?
Season
the one
7.
Where you can't find the doorknob?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
Well, in a way, let's be glad I've taken it, because then you get one more.
Yeah.
You get an additional one. So this is the first time that we really, really see Elizabeth like affected by Lucas to a different level. I mean, we see the physical attraction, right? It's always been there, but she is just so affected by his closeness. I loved it. Like, this is right after things get real in the flowers, and there's like this heightened sense of awareness that, you know, he wants more. And she does too. She just doesn't freaking want to admit it yet. But Eva Bourne was so impressed by this scene that she named it Spicy. And she and Aaron Krakow had like a little bit of back and forth on Twitter about it, which I just loved, because Eva is very team Lucas. Like, she's tried to, like, when they ask her, she's like, oh, I like both, but then she's always like, but if I had to pick, I'd pick Lucas. Smart girl. So I love this scene because, yes, she comes in and it's kind of like, I don't want to say awkward. It's not awkward, but they're both like very self-aware. And then he's the sweetheart that he is. He's like, oh, I can put your books back for you. And then I wish they had shown us like more of like an extended shot when she goes in and when they like go in, because I want to know if their hands touched. We don't get to see if their hands touched. But then we get the eye lock. Then we get our girl lip staring him. Like, she lip stares him so much. And then Lucas is the one that kind of composes himself a little better, and he smiles and he looks down. And then and this part, I love this part, because this is where she gets so affected. Like, she has to, like, you know, go back. And he just has the cutest expression on his face. Like, go back and watch his expression. He looks up, he's like, huh? What did I do? What happened? And I'm just like, you weirdo. He
has like no idea.
He has no idea that he's affecting this girl so much, which makes it even more endearing. Right? Which is just so much cuter. And then she just really stutters. I loved how Erin did this, because she stutters quite a lot. It's not just like once or twice. It's like, and I'll see you at the wedding. I loved it.
Just see you at the wedding.
Such a great
he's just like, yeah, you will. I just think I know, I love it that that happens multiple times where she's like super affected by him, and he's like, he has no idea. I mean, he's affected by her too, but he doesn't know. He doesn't even know how much she's just like, ugh. And then it's I like the way that she like steps up to him, and there's obviously like, you know, this like heat between them, and then later on in the finale, when they step towards each other, or when he steps towards her, and she does the same like look up and down thing in the library, but now she's allowed to like proceed, you know. So it's like, you go from that where she's like, oh, I can't do this, I gotta, where's the doorknob, to like, ooh, lapels.
my genius of a person. I literally 2 days ago, you know, I told you how I like to do that, like not comparison thing, but like that like time progression thing. I honestly was watching that scene, the library scene at the end with the book reading, and I was watching the Spicy scene. Like, I was watching them like back and forth, like I had separate tabs open.
Really?
And I swear to you, and I was like watching it for that very purpose, because I wanted to see how she's so like jittery and like so, you know, like nervous. And then like we go here, and she's someone called her the aggressor in that scene. I love it. You be aggressive, Elizabeth. No one blames you. And she lip stares him here in this scene too, but here she's like unabashedly doing it. She's like, oh yes, I have a thing for you. What's up? So isn't that great? Like, just how I also was doing like a comparison between the library scene from the one that we're just talking about from the finale to the dangerous liaison scene, where she's so unsure of him, and he walks towards her and she's so nervous. And then you see how she reacts when he walks towards her in this scene. Isn't it awesome? Like, when you just watch like how things have changed between them, it's just, and then you go and watch the other couple, and it's like just Awkward season 6. Awkward season 7. Oh wait, what happens in season 8? Oh yes, more awkward. Shocking.
So awkward. Oh, you. Okay. Is that everything for that one?
Yep. It's all you.
Okay, so it's my turn, even though that was on both of our lists, because I think I just have a really long list. Okay,
yes, take a bonus one.
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go next with when Elizabeth goes into the saloon before Claire and Jesse's bachelorette parties, and Nathan is like just tearing apart the women, and she comes into the saloon and Bill's like, oh, and Lucas is like, no, it's okay. Like let him make his point, and he just totally puts his foot in his mouth, and it's totally his own fault. It's Nathan's fault. People are like, oh, it's so mean what he did to Nathan, and I'm like, no, Nathan was saying what he wanted to say. He did it to himself. Yeah. I just think it's so funny. And then when she like claps back at Nathan, Lucas's little smile at her is just like, he's like, that's my girl. Like, even though, yeah. and then she's like, thank you, Lucas, when she asks him where Gustav is, like right in front of Nathan, and then he watches her walk away, like always. Yeah, it's so cute. It's so good. Yeah, like on so many levels. I love that episode. The whole episode.
Yeah, it's good, except for the scene outside the Mountie office, which I'm like, who cares? That's where they bring up the apple. Okay, we're not gonna get into that.
Wait, what? What?
The scene with little Jack and Elizabeth petting Newton. And
yeah.
But to the people who are blaming Lucas, it's not like it's our fans anyway. Blaming Lucas for supposedly setting Nathan up. Nathan freaking lied to Lucas, okay? At the actual bachelorette party, the bachelorette party. Mm-hmm. So they're more than even. At least Lucas didn't lie to him or put words in his mouth. Right. What Nathan said was what Nathan said.
I know, that's the thing. It's like Nathan did it to himself. Lucas wasn't like, oh, blah, like. But then later in the like that's what Nathan does to me. But then later at the party, Nathan's like, oh, Bill wants to talk to you about the food. Come on, really? And like that's fine.
Yeah.
Come on, get over yourself.
Yep.
I hate. Yeah. Anyway.
Yep. Can I just dude, I wanted to say something. Let me throw this in there. It's not really related to what we're talking about, but it's just something that I thought about in terms of like Nathan fans and their double standards. One of them, this is like one of the main fanatics. This is my story, people, my Twitter story. One of them, I was going back and forth with this person, and then I finally had enough, and I was just like, some people are just not worth it. This person had an issue with Lucas bringing Christopher to kind of keep an eye on Henry. And was like, oh, what a jerk. Like, he didn't even tell Henry. He was, pretty much having his son spy on him. And I'm like, you have a problem with Lucas not telling Henry about Christopher. Should we talk about what Nathan isn't telling somebody?
Right.
I think he's supposed to have mentioned Fort Clay. He had about 3 years to do it. So this person is totally fine with Nathan not telling Elizabeth about Fort Clay whatsoever, but has an issue with Lucas not telling Henry about Christopher, which he finally did of his own accord, unlike Nathan, who had to have it freaking forced out of him. So anyway, this is kind of in
there, like, he's like, hey, Henry, I gotta talk to you. Like, he really had to, like, I need to talk to you. And then I was even confused by that, because I was like I don't see why even Henry would be bad about that. I don't know.
No, and they didn't, like, that storyline was weird. Like, they didn't pursue it, I feel like.
It was just like one little thing in there to like maybe throw a wrench in there or something. I don't know. It was kind of weird.
I don't know if they cut scenes out.
And it just gave them something to be like, oh, he was lying, I knew it. And I'm like, Nathan lies to Lucas and Elizabeth so many times.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, not only did he keep the secret about Fort Clay for almost 3 years, but every time she asked about it, because she asked about, she didn't know what to ask exactly because she didn't know what it was, but she asked about it so many times, and every single time he lied to her until he finally told her. So I'm like, it wasn't even like he was keeping a secret from her. He was lying to her over and over.
Yep.
But
yeah, we totally got off track here, but it's something that I thought about the other day, and I was like, this needs to get mentioned. It absolutely needs to get mentioned. So anyway, yes. Where were we? Oh, it's my turn, I think. Oh, yeah. So it's my turn. Okay, this scene is super small. It's from season 8, episode 4. This is after the library angst. It's this little small scene where Joseph and Lucas are talking by that Valley Gas sign. Is that like the little shack, whatever it is? And Elizabeth comes over, and it ends up being that she wants to talk to Joseph about, tutoring Angela. But it's really cute because as she's walking up to them, her eyes are on Lucas. This is what I love about Elizabeth. Like, when she sees Lucas, she's like hyper focused on Lucas. So like when she comes into the screen, she kind of looks at both of them, but then she's like looking at Lucas, like, I see you too. And then he's a little distant, like he's, it's still weird between them, right? And then he excuses himself, and then when he walks away, her eyes follow him. The whole time her eyes are following him. And then she realizes what she's doing. She's like, oh, I have a person standing here in front of me who's probably wondering what the heck's going on. Right. And then she's like, and then have you seen, like, she like kind of shakes her head. She's like, oh my gosh. And then she goes, I'm sorry. And then she starts talking to Joseph. And I'm just like, that is so cute. And I don't know if she's thinking this. Maybe she is. I don't know. But this is the same day as the angst, right? So the library scene with the food for the soul. Because she's wearing the same clothes. But we know that Lucas is gone and cleaned up. And he's like all, because when we see him in the library scene, he's all disheveled and gorgeous. But now we see him all like clean and put together and gorgeous. And I wouldn't be surprised if our girl was like, wow, look, our guy clean, or my guy cleaned up. No, I don't know if she was thinking that. But what else I love is Bubbly Sesh had Viv Leacock on for that episode. So he did an interview with them, and they asked him about it. Oh, remember we were talking about this in our last podcast where we were wondering about like interviews that possibly gave away the end game. Yeah, this is kind of it, because Viv, apparently when he was talking about these scenes, he said, she loves you and you love her, you both need to communicate. Like, that's what he would have said to Lucas and Elizabeth. Really? So he pretty much, yes. Oh, no, I went back and I listened to it. I'll send you the link. He was there for their episode 4 summary that they did on their podcast. And he pretty much gave it away. He pretty much said that he was frustrated because they both love each other and they're not communicating. Aww. And Joseph is like standing there watching them, and this is like the Henry thing, right, where like people are like just watching these two, like, and seeing all this tension. And it's romantic tension.
That's actually really funny. That's a good point. Like, okay, so first of all, that's precious that he said that. Also, like, if Joseph is recognizing it and Henry is recognizing it, and then later Ned is recognizing it, like, everybody, all the older men are like, I mean, not that Joseph is older, but you know what I mean. They're like, obviously, you guys love each other. They all know it. Yep. And they actually all say something about it, kind of, yeah. I've never really thought about that.
Bill,
yes.
When he watches the coats being put on, or the coat being put on her. And then the next one where she walks out, we're not talking about Union City yet, but when he notices how happy she is after she tells Lucas she's going to go with him, they all see it. I don't see them going and telling. I don't see a single one of them teasing her about Nathan. Have they? No. I don't think anybody has. Nobody.
It was just like, if it was anything, it was about both of them, or like it was about both of them or about Lucas.
Right.
Like the flower thing when Bill was like investigating who gave her the flowers. It was like about both of them.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's just so obvious to everybody.
Yep.
Well, to most people. Yeah.
To those of us who aren't in denial, yes.
Okay. My next scene is going to be playing darts.
Okay. I would not have guessed that.
It's actually kind of more than one scene, I guess. It's like the whole time that they're playing darts. I love it so much. The fact that Lucas just like pieces out of the bachelor party and it just goes and hangs out with the girls and plays darts. And they're all like, oh, Lucas, oh. I just think it's so good. And then I just love seeing Elizabeth have so much fun. And then when he's like teaching her the like throwing a dart backward, I mean, he touches her arm and it's completely unnecessary. She's literally throwing a dart backward over her shoulder. Like a little tiny arm movement is not going to do anything. And he's like, I'm going to take this opportunity to touch your arm and move it a little bit. And then they just giggle and it's so cute. And then I also love it because Nathan is embarrassed again. He like, let's just say the writers wrote Nathan in this episode to be like embarrassing. Like he's just embarrassed the whole time, like this whole episode, multiple times.
Yep.
And it's not in like a cute way. Maybe some people think it's cute. I don't know. I just don't think it's attractive. But so then like her dart lands in his beer and he could totally be like, oh, that's funny, but he's just like embarrassed by it. And I'm like, that's really unattractive that you're embarrassed. I don't know. I just don't like that. But I like that happens because I don't know.
That's when the gap starts to grow. I felt like starting with this episode, slowly there's a gap between Lucas and Nathan. Starting with the scene where there's the awkwardness, then we have the flowers that we only see Lucas give. And then LucaBeth's relationship starts to evolve even more. Because then in episode 6, Nathan's still kind of there, but then he's got his whole, I don't view this as competition thing. Like he's approaching it so differently than Lucas. And the writers show us that. Because then Lucas doesn't mention the flowers, right? And then we have Union City, which just totally separates the men. And even though episodes 8, 9, and 10 don't necessarily show that because they try to keep Nathan in the picture, trust me, there's a gap. There is a gap.
I swear the writers were just like, let's like, I feel like they were like mind blown by how like what they got away with. like let's see how far we can take this. And people like actually believe that like Nathan is still in the picture.
Yep. Dude. I don't know. I'm shocked. I just hope that everyone who is surprised by our end game, I hope it's everyone who's just on social media, because if there are people like them who are not on social media who think that way, there's something wrong. There's something very wrong.
Yeah, because social media did have a big influence on like the blogs that were happening. It's like they're like, oh well, this could mean this. I mean, you can make anything seem like it means something.
Yeah.
You know? And they were writing blogs about pumpkins and people were like, oh yeah, okay. And they were like grasping onto that. But if they're not reading that, you can't watch this show without that interference and be like, I think it's gonna be Nathan. I don't know. Maybe people, I don't know. I don't see how you could, but
I'm gonna tease right now. When we do Union City, I have some things to say about Team Nathan blogs, but I'm going to save that for that episode. But all the bloggers, they don't have their websites anymore. I think one of them even deleted her account, and the other one was like, I'm not going to write about One Calls the Heart anymore. I'm like, oh, okay, after you kind of brainwashed your peeps, now you're like,
well, and that's the thing. They created this whole storyline, and then they're like mad that it didn't happen.
Yep.
I could go into a whole a whole story about a conversation I had with somebody, but I'm not going to. It's your turn.
My turn. Okay. Yeah. My next one, season 8, episode 5, bridge scene. Bridge number 1.
Okay. Yeah.
I love this scene for a lot of reasons. Number 1, our first bridge scene.
Yeah.
Completely new setting for our couple, and it's their second new place, their new special place. But I also, so what I like about this episode, the writers tried to show Lucas as a good, empathetic human being in this scene. Or not, I'm sorry, not, well, I like the whole episode, but in this scene where it starts off with him saying he'd like to be there for the graduation, but he's not going to go because he wants this to be special for Nathan and Allie, and he doesn't want to come in and like throw his relationship with Elizabeth in Nathan's face. The writers put that in there for a reason. They're trying to show the departees, who are not departees at this point, future departees, that they're trying to show them over and over again that Lucas is a good guy. And here they're showing that he cares about Nathan and Allie and their feelings. Anyway, whatever. That's part 1 of what happens there. Because then they start flirting with each other and they get comfortable, and she says, I can't wait, when he says he's gonna have her all to himself that night for their dinner date. And I have you all to myself tonight for dinner at the saloon.
So cute.
Which we know we have the location change, but it's so cute. And then they like look at each other, and this is another moment where they're like two adorable high school kids with crushes, right?
Yes.
And they look at each other, and then they giggle. And then Chris is so cute here because he looks away, and then he puts his head up, and he like looks down. And they play it so well.
They do.
With scenes like this, for me, Elizabeth's reaction is more important. Like, I want to see her because she's the confused one. You know, she's at the center of this triangle, and we know how Lucas feels. So little moments like these to me where I see Elizabeth's emotions and see her, when I get to see her, the depth of her feelings for Lucas, they're really rewarding to me. So I love that. And then she says, okay, but I have to get going because she has to prepare for the graduation. And then they walk away, and then they get on their horses, and it's so cute. We say so cute so much, but come on, people.
It's so cute.
They're so cute. They're freaking adorable. But it's nice.
It's so cute.
Yes. So freaking cute. I'm throwing my word in there.
It's so freaking cute.
But like, then she cheats, right? And she seriously like folds him, and his reaction is just adorable because he's like, oh my gosh, you got me. But then he's impressed, and then he takes off after her, and then you can hear them laughing. And oh my gosh, this is the end game, you guys. This is a couple. They're gonna be with each other for the rest of their lives, and we're getting glimpses of what their relationship is going to be like. And it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. We have never seen Elizabeth laughing like this with Nathan. We have never seen Elizabeth just be herself, right? And we've talked about this before, but this episode, a lot of people were very upset after this episode and were like, Elizabeth was out of character in this entire episode. Where did Elizabeth go? This is the episode where Brian Byrne and Aaron Krakow had to step in and say Elizabeth is still there, because her behavior supposedly caught some people off guard. And I'm like, no, what you are seeing is Elizabeth happy. You're seeing Elizabeth excited, which we have not seen in a very, very long time. To them, It was out of character. Obviously, some of that has to do with Nathan. Maybe all of it has to do with Nathan. I don't know. But seriously, people actually said
I didn't know that.
it was a big
I didn't know
thing.
that people were mad about that. Like, that is Elizabeth. Like, that is the Elizabeth that we used to know.
Exactly.
And we haven't seen it in, like, since Jack died.
Yeah.
But that is Elizabeth.
Yep.
That's what we like to see.
Yep.
On the other side of it, because we haven't seen it since Jack died.
Yeah.
That's
we've seen glimpses of
sign.
it. Right? So we've seen glimpses of it. But in this episode, she kind of just
right. Yeah. I don't mean we didn't see it at all. But
no, but in this episode, she just frees herself. And this all starts now when she's decided she wants to date Lucas. Lucas brings that out of her. And some people just didn't get it. They just didn't get it. And I was in shock because she is being happy and they have issues with it.
Yeah. I think a lot of those, the departees, we'll call them the departees. We'll just stick to that. They don't like Elizabeth. It seems like.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I don't know what they want. I don't know if they want to see the school teacher and the Mountie, no matter who it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. But if you truly love Elizabeth, which I do, I am thrilled to see her happy again.
Yeah. Well, with them, it's a lot of them, it's the Mountie and the teacher. It has to be a Mountie and the teacher, like the books. And they feel like the show is being disrespectful to Jeanette Oak. But Brian Bird and John Tinker said they ran the endgame by Jeanette. She gave them the okay for LucaBeth to be endgame.
Yes.
I saw it in like an interview. It was, I can't even remember if it was Brian Bird or JT, but one of them very clearly said, they asked Jeanette, I think it was in a tweet. Brian Bird said it in a tweet. But anyway,
yes,
the author is fine with it, right? And the books are loosely based on the show is loosely based on the books. It's not gonna follow it. It's not gonna be canon. Right? And the Mountie and the teacher thing died with Jack. You can't just keep substituting. You can't just keep putting her with a guy because of his profession.
Right.
And then the others just love Kevin. It's all about Kevin. Kevin.
Well, in the book versus the TV show thing, not only died with Jack dying. I mean, that is not what happened in the books, but also the show has never been based completely on the books. Like, the books are not about Jack and Elizabeth. It's about like Elizabeth's aunt and a Mountie or something like that.
Yeah.
I haven't read it. Have you read it?
No,
I haven't. My mom got it for me for my birthday, and I need to read it. But it's not about Jack and Elizabeth, so it's never been about the books. It's based on the books. The idea came from the books. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. The character's name is like Win. I think the name of the Mountie is Win. I think.
Yeah, and I think it is Elizabeth, but it's like her Aunt Elizabeth or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, so that's me. It's your turn.
Okay, it's my turn.
Scene number 4. Yeah, scene number 4 for you.
Okay. I don't have them labeled. I'm still picking from my list. We'll see what happens next. Let's see what do we got next. That's my top one. I can't do that one yet. The darts. I did the darts. Okay. How many more do I have? 2?
You have 2 more.
Oh no.
This is your number 4.
Okay. I have to decide between these 2 because I have one that's like at the top, but I'm gonna say when Lucas goes to the Mercantile with Elizabeth to call the publisher.
Okay.
because
Okay.
it was between this and the coat scene where he brings her coat. But we've talked about it before. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with when he comes to her house. First of all, he comes to her house and knocks on the door, and he's like, I'm sorry to come over so early, or something like that. And she's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's no problem. And the episode right before this, at the end, Nathan comes over late and knocks on the door, and he's like, hey, I'm sorry to come over so late. And she's like, it's fine. Do you want to come in? I actually screen recorded this scene because I want to compare them. They're not back to back because they're in different episodes, but it is back to back if you watch them back to back.
Mm.
So he comes, knocks on the door, and she's like, oh no, it's no problem. Like, what's up? And then he the way he grabs her coat and is like, shall we? I just I love that he is supporting her through her writing journey, her publishing journey. I just love it so much. And then the fact that she's just like, oh no, is this a bad call? And he's like, no, I think he wants to talk to you. It's gonna be a good thing. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she's all excited. It's just so cute the way he's supporting her through this. And then he grabs her coat. He hasn't entered her house, but he will reach into her house and grab her coat off the rack. He knows where it is. I don't know. I just think that's so cute. And then the way that they go into the mercantile, and Fiona is like, do you want me to place a call? And he's like, yeah. And he's the one that hands her the number. He goes with her. He's the one that hands her the number. This is the number I need to call. And then he's just standing behind Elizabeth when she's on the phone, and he tells her to take a deep breath, which is another parallel to Jack in episode or season 1. And then he takes a deep breath with her. He's just so excited for her. That's in the top. I love it.
You did kind of cheat though. That was 2 scenes. That was 2 scenes, you jerk.
I know. Yeah, it was.
But it was.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, it was sweet where he says, relax, close your eyes, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
He just knows how to calm her down. He just knows, he understands her.
And the way she looks back at him what are we doing?
Yeah. Yes.
It's so cute. So cute.
Oh, I know. Hey, they're gonna understand. Our people are gonna understand, right? You guys,
I know.
You get it. We have smart fans.
It's just too good. And then the way she's she's talking to him on the phone, and then she's like, oh yeah, and then she kind of acknowledges Lucas behind her. It's just so good.
It's a very couple moment. It so is. Coupley.
It is. How do you go back? How do you go back from that? You don't.
You don't. You can't.
You don't. You can't.
They didn't.
No. Okay.
Now,
is it your turn? It's your turn, right?
It's my turn. Yeah. And then one last one for you. Make it a good one. I know.
Okay.
Lots of pressure.
Okay. So this is your last one?
Yep.
All right. What's your last scene?
My last scene is season 8, episode 8, office scene.
Okay. Is this the daytime office scene or the nighttime office scene?
Nighttime. I mean, daytime is cute. We love the French, but nighttime.
I really love both, but I get it. Go on.
You know what? I feel like when we did talk about the scene, we didn't talk about it a ton. We didn't actually break it apart. We just kind of summarized it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad because then we get to talk about it a little bit more.
Do it.
Okay. This scene, so much pressure. No, okay. So this is another scene. It's so cute. This is another scene where actually Hallmark called it steamy. I think it says because they have the clip on their YouTube channel, and it's Elizabeth comforts Lucas and things get steamy.
Yeah,
I love it. So we've got a spicy scene, we've got a steamy scene. What more do we need? A sizzling scene in season 9. I don't know. Okay, I'm just making stuff up.
Completely burned.
With S. Well done. We make them sound like steaks.
That's what I was going for.
Where the heck were we? We're talking about like unhealthy like food.
The office scene.
Yes. Okay. So this starts out with Elizabeth going to see Lucas because Lucas is upset over Henry's health scare, and Christopher calling him out on the street, which it was not Lucas's fault, people. No. But anyway, this is another scene where I like that we see Elizabeth show her feelings for Lucas. And she gets very what should I say? What's the word I'm
protective?
She gets protective. It's very like, I want to be here for my man. It's very, it's another like coupley scene. But it's also a scene, where she's not the aggressor. It's not like the library thing, but it is where she's kind of setting the pace. And Erin said in an interview, the Christmas interview that they did before the season started, that she likes the scenes where Elizabeth kind of takes the reins and kind of sets the tone. And this is one of those scenes where Elizabeth, we get to see her comfort level. We see her kind of show Lucas where she wants it to go. Because then she pats the little, area next to her for him to come and sit down, and he does, and it's cozy. And then they laugh about it, and then the attraction just kind of takes over, and then she lip stares the man again.
She does.
Lots of lip staring. Now she can actually act on the lip staring. Isn't that great? And then I just love how like their expressions go from like smiling to like serious, where they're just so into each other, like the way they are looking into each other's eyes. And then she takes his hand. Now she's at the point where she's comfortable taking his hand, so that's progression in the relationship, right? And then he has to stop the kiss. She wants to kiss at this point. She pretty much makes it obvious. And then Erin also said, like, after the season ended, when she and Chris went on Bubbly Sesh and did an interview, that Elizabeth did not want Lucas to be patient in that scene. But he is. Cuts it short. And he's so sweet about how he, like, lets her down. He's so freaking sweet.
It's so good.
He's like, I want to thank you for coming. And he's truly appreciative of the fact that she cares so much and that she came. And then her smile, if you watch her smile when he's talking, she's just in awe of him. And then she says, thank you for your patience. And then when the camera kind of goes down, you can see that he was holding her hand in both of his hands, which is just the sweetest gesture. It's just so, it's like that protective, like, I adore you kind of thing, where he's like, he loves that he gets to hold her hand. Like, he's feeling all of it. And then he brings her hand to his lips and he kisses it. And if you watch Elizabeth, she takes like this breath. Have you seen it? Like, you can see Erin's collarbones move.
Dude, she's like,
yes.
It's in the tiny moments on our Instagram.
Oh, it is?
So good.
Yeah. So like, she's completely taken aback. And this is another scene where he does that, and then they lock eyes, right? He looks up, and I love when they lock eyes, and then he looks away. And again, he does not realize how much he is affecting this woman. He just does not, which is so attractive. And then
no idea.
No idea. And she's just like, oh my gosh. and then she sits up straight, and then we can see that he'd gone back to like holding her hands again. And then she stands up, and then he's like, okay, you're standing up, and he stands up too. And then she starts walking to the door, and then she wants to say something, and she turns around, And then he looks up at her and I'm like doing like a play-by-play here, but come on.
That's
people.
fine. Keep going.
And then she looks at him like she wants to say something. We're never going to find out what she wanted to say. And then he kind of looks at her, and that expression on his face is just so like,
oh my gosh.
And like,
Uh-huh.
I just love that like the way he looks at her. And then she's like, and then she starts, and then she goes to the door and she closes it slowly. And then we know what she needs to do. The poor girl, she needs to grab the menu.
Off.
Thank goodness for that menu sitting over there, pinned to that clipboard. And we see the full extent of how much this man affects her, and I love these scenes. So it's like that.
It's so good.
We thought the spicy scene was good. At least for me, it was one of my absolute favorites. This topped it in the sense that, I mean, I don't want to like undermine that scene or take away from it, but in terms of their relationship, it stepped it up.
This is the office scene.
It was, and they gave that to us. Yeah, chef's kisses. And speaking of chefs, our guy Gustav sees it and has this little smirk. More Gustav.
More Gustav.
And he sees it and he smirks and he's like, "Yep, I know what's going on here." And he like watches.
That's important. That's important that Gustav saw it. I mean, he's so like, yeah, like don't tell me about romance, and then he's like, well, that was even, yeah, I don't know. And then he saw that and he's like, oh yeah, there goes my guy, Lucas, like pulling it in.
He's their little cheerleader. He is their cheerleader. Like, we don't see it as much, but he is. I mean, sending one dessert.
Yes. Come on. That's such a smooth move. Gustav. Bravo.
I want to see more. And I feel like,
too.
And we know that he's going to be in season 9 based on that menu thing that Peter who posted that?
Mm-hmm.
Saying that on Twitter. Yeah. No, but this is a newer one that Gustav's trying new recipes or something. It's a newer tweet that he had. So we know Gustav's coming back. I just really need to see Gustav like involved in their courtship. I just keep seeing this scene. I brought it up when we did our Instagram live. I just see one where Lucas and Elizabeth are in his office being passionate-ish. I don't know how far they're going to go, and then Gustav like walking in on them. But Gustav, if you do walk in on them, please give them a little time. Like, I want to see the actual passion.
Give us a makeout scene.
Yes, pretty much. That's kind of what I'm trying to say.
I'm just going to say it for you.
Thank you for that. Thank you. You're so good to me.
No, that is such a good scene. I mean,
don't you feel like it's there, like waiting to be like written and shown?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're talking about the office scene.
Both. But the office scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're gonna watch like a LucaBeth scene, that's gonna be on the top of the list for sure.
Heck yeah.
I didn't put it on my list only because I thought that you probably would. So
great minds. Boom. Great minds. Yeah, and I just feel like we hadn't talked in depth about it, so which is why you guys got the play-by-play a little bit.
Yeah, so. We haven't, which it deserves an episode.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It does.
It's so good. I mean, also just the way that she like, so the fact that she goes into his office twice in one day.
Yes.
And the first time she knocks and waits for him to answer, and then he's like, oh yeah, and then he like closes his book, which is so cute, but that's another thing. But then when she goes in the second time, the time that you're talking about, and she just knocks and doesn't wait for an answer and just opens the door, and again doesn't wait for an answer, she just goes in, like she just knows that she's allowed to go in.
Yep.
I love that. I love it that she just knocks, opens the door, goes right in, and he's just like sitting at his desk. Mm-hmm.
And the way she talks and the way they talk to each other, it is very coupley, right? It is very like, yes, I didn't know that Henry, I knew that Henry was having trouble. Carson was worried about Henry. Like, it's just very conversational in the sense that it's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense whatsoever. I just
No, it
mean
totally
that
does.
they're so comfortable with each other.
They are.
And I'm gonna do this for you because I love you. Let's not forget the knitting that happens afterward.
Okay.
You need to talk about
Okay.
this.
Come on. Like, she goes and knits after this. Like, what else do you do? Like, when you go home and you're just like knitting on the couch and she's still in the same outfit. Like, it's literally right after this scene.
She's cooled off a little bit. She fanned herself, so she's cooled off a little bit. But
and then she went home and she was like, I'm gonna knit a sweater. Okay.
the rest of that tension is like, that's her way of
She doesn't have a shower. She can't take a cold shower. She has to do something else. She's gotta knit a sweater.
I love it.
Gotta cool herself down somehow. And knitting seems to be a good way to do it.
The thing. Yep.
Yeah.
I hope we get to see Elizabeth knit a lot next season.
Yes.
Maybe he won't need to anymore because he's not going to hold back anymore. I don't think.
Well,
so. We'll see.
Until they get married, she might have to do some knitting. I'm gonna cut that out.
No, leave it. Leave it. No, it's okay. It's open to interpretation. Yes.
We didn't say anything bad. Okay.
No, you never do.
Is it my turn for my last one?
Yes.
That's your top
one.
That's your top one? Okay, besides the kisses
I didn't go in order though.
No, that's right. Okay.
I just kind of threw 5 together.
Okay.
And I could have kept going with more, but 5 was a good number.
So I didn't put mine in order either, but I did save this one for last because I do think it's maybe my favorite one besides the obvious ones. Do you know what I'm gonna say? Do you know what do you think I'm gonna say? What scene do you think I'm gonna say?
What season?
It's in season 8. I'll tell you that. I'll just tell you that.
Okay. So season 8. That's not enough.
Just guess. What's your guess? You're probably gonna be wrong. It's fine.
Library scene?
No.
Okay, it's shorter than that.
You're okay, so I'll give you another hint.
Okay.
I've messed up about this scene because I love it so much.
Got it. So episode 4, Nathan rides up to Elizabeth, or it's okay. Well, you messed it up between 2 scenes. So it was the one where so you thought it was before the serendipitous one. You thought the Nathan scene was before the serendipitous one, but you meant for it to be season 8, episode 7, where they do the hand holding, right?
Well, it's the serendipitous scene.
The dude, that's the one I started out with, and then you were kind of like, so I went to 7. I meant to say 8-4. I meant to say serendipitous.
Yeah, serendipitous. I think, gosh, it's so hard to like pick a favorite scene. But I think if I had to choose, besides the obvious, the kisses.
Yeah.
I think this is my favorite scene. I think it's my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have notes about this. First of all, I love the word serendipity. I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he used that word is just like, okay. And then, so I don't know what it is, but like the way he like fiddles with the back of his vest. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like,
he tugs on it.
It's like, it just makes it so real because it's like, it's not like that was written into the script, like fiddle with the back of your vest. Like he's just doing that. And then he's like going into the scene like naturally.
Yep.
And I don't know, this whole scene, I don't want to miss anything. So I'm looking at my notes. Okay. The fact that she turned Nathan down, and not only turned Nathan down, but then told Rosemary that she knows that she made the right decision to turn him down. But then she wants to tell Lucas about it. And the fact that she's nervous about his response. And she's like, legit doesn't know if he wants anything to do with her is the cutest thing. Like, of course he wants something to do with you. He's in love with you. Oh, it's just so cute. I just can't even take it. And then she's like, I don't know if you want anything to do with me. And the way that he's like he wants to interrupt, but he doesn't want to interrupt because he's such a gentleman. And then she's like, just tells him what she said to Nathan. And then the way that he like scooches toward her. And then the mushroom talk, like about, you know, the mushroom reference. I just love that. Plus I love Gustav. You guys know that. And
yes,
then,
we have Gustav appears.
Yeah, and then
icing on top.
like when she like spins around and looks at him like, like a lot of people didn't pick up on that, but it's like I think it's because of the mushroom reference because they're thinking about Union City. It's like an inside joke, you know.
Yep.
And then the way he like goes like this, and the grin, he cannot help but grin. Yep. I mean, Chris and Aaron are so good. It's hard to believe that it's not real. I don't know. They're just so good. So those are our favorite LucaBeth scenes. Of course, we have many more, but that's kind of what we narrowed it down to. Let us know what your favorite scenes are. If you don't follow us already on social media, we are at the LucaBeth Lounge on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and we are at LucaBeth Lounge on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time in lunch.
Bye, guys.